no money, that's an asshole. It wasn't a phase.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Senior Citizen Podcast, and today we have the pleasure of speaking to
Ryan
Bazail. Bazail, I said it right! Yes?
Yeah, you got it right.
Woo! Okay. How you doing today?
I'm good. A little bit sleepy. I had a late gig last night, but we're good.
I saw it was with Mount Sinai, funny enough.
Yeah, we're right before us.
No, awesome. I want to get a little bit into, your history as a singer, as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're a multi-instrumentalist. I just get the vibe.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little bit. When was your start with music?
Yeah, I started music really early. So like 5 years old, playing piano and stuff like that. And I never really took it super seriously at that age. I feel like at that age you kind of have to have a certain mindset. You have to be a certain type of kid to actually really take it seriously. But that was kind of my start. Then I sang in the choir as a kid, and that was I did a little bit of that. And then around 13, 14, I started listening to rock music, emo bands and metal and stuff like that. And I was I really want to play guitar. And I don't think I've been the same since, because I've been doing that ever since. And I got just bitten by the bug, and now I kind of, do a little bit of everything, songwriting, solo stuff, band stuff, So that's my life at this point.
None of us have been the same since.
Absolutely.
What kind of bands did you get into?
At that age, it was guitar bands. First it was Green Day and MCR, and then it was Metallica, okay. Guns N' Roses, the old stuff.
Yeah.
But at first it was those pop punk, kind of bands in middle school, just really feeling, with the hormones and everything. You just, at that age, it just really hits you,
Yeah, I don't know if you ever listened to The Story So Far.
No.
The Story So Far's lead singer is Parker Cannon. So when I was in high school, middle school, high school, it was always Parker Cannon, who hurt you? Because all the songs are so angry.
Yeah.
But they're a good old traditional pop punk.
Check them out.
Yeah. No, super cool. One of the things that I found super impressive is that I stalked your Instagram and I saw that you do opera singing.
Yes.
Okay, how?
Yeah, I just went into college. I started doing that. And funnily enough, I went in to be a guitar major. I went into learn jazz and stuff. And then the second theory class, the teacher or the professor for that class was the choir director. And he heard me do one sight reading thing, and he was you need to join the choir. And then that guy became my mentor. Shout out Dr. B. And yeah, he just got me on a path, and I started doing classical voice, and that's another thing. I have not been the same singer since starting to do that. It's just been, amazing. I'll never be an opera, professional opera singer, but just learning how to apply my voice in that way was just game changing.
What are the basics that you learn when you first get into classical singing?
The main thing is to remove all the diphthongs of a modern pop singer, and then that's very indicative of that style of the pop punk, just very over enunciating certain vowels.
Okay.
Then another thing is to what's called opening up the larynx. So you kind of have to drop your jaw a little bit and learn how to sing that way, big, wide, wide shape of the voice, and then just singing that way, opening up the larynx, opening up the throat. It's super different.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's funny when you mentioned the opening up the larynx, because a lot of the more screamo vocalists that I talk to, they're the first thing they teach us is you have to open your mouth.
Yes, you really do. That's I'm a music teacher now, and that's my biggest struggle, especially with kids. It's they don't open their mouths, they don't breathe, they don't want to do anything. They just try to sing, and it's it's a really tough battle.
It's funny how easy you can forget to breathe while doing things.
It really is. It so is. Yeah.
Yeah, I take dance classes, and it's funny because whenever we're doing a certain trick, you just hear the professor go, breathe.
Yes.
And you don't realize that you're all clenched up.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it was super cool. I love your background. So you are an elder emo, not wearing the elder emo shirt this round. How did that affect you growing up? Did you have your little clique, or were you more of the lone wolf? Were you bullied? I think we all were.
Yeah, I was a weird kid for sure. One thing that's really funny is that there's like a story of Gerard Way where he talks about like when he was like 9 years old, like discovering death and how like it changed his life. And I was like, oh my God, me too. Like that was literally me, just like 8 years old, like just like realizing like what life was, or like, mortality, whatever. And like I related to that so much. And it kind of just like, him being like an early influence and like someone that like I really listened to when I was younger, like I definitely like identify with like how he viewed the world, if that makes sense. And that was just kind of like a oh shit moment,
Yeah. For me, at that age, it was more of an Avril Lavigne type of thing.
Okay.
Like I was listening to like, I don't know, Girlfriend. But
of course.
Yeah, no, not as deep, not as profound. But yeah, so you never really had friends in the same.
I mean, there was a couple kids. I had like a band in middle school, and that's how I got into like MCR and stuff like that.
Tell me about the middle school band.
It was like 4 idiots in, a garage playing like terrible covers of like Black Parade, or like Panic songs, and none of us knew how to play our instruments. I think our bass player like picked up the bass like a week before the band started. It was like that kind of thing. So it was, that was like my first band experience. And we would like practice for 30 minutes and then go upstairs and play video games, like that was the vibe.
I love the commitment.
Yeah.
Are you still friends with any of those people?
Yeah.
Did the bass player keep on going with the bass or was it a lost cause?
I actually haven't heard from him.
Wow.
I really haven't heard from him in a long time.
It's typical of a bass player to jump ship. Yeah.
Oh, I have stories about that with my current group.
Oh, tell me. Well, so you present yourself as Ryan Bazail. Mm-hmm. So you're more of a solo artist, I guess?
It's a gray area right now because I definitely was like a very like cut and dry, like I am a solo artist for a long time. And then I started playing with a very like consistent group, and that kind of developed the songs in a different way. And like now at this point, like that's why we perform now as Ryan Bazail and Pending. Because it's like that, it's like in a different identity.
I never saw the and Pending on there.
It's new, and now we have like a band page for the band Pending.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like the recent like show flyers will say like Ryan Bazail and Pending.
Got you.
Yeah.
So Pending is on a real band name here.
Yeah.
We're waiting to like discover it. Like what is it gonna be or?
Oh no, that's what it is. That's the funny thing is that like that was like our joke. Like we had like a WhatsApp group for like a year. And it said like Ryan Bazail and Pending because we didn't know. Like I told them, I came into one rehearsal, I was like, you guys need to come up with a band name, and they just didn't do it. And then I went on Stage Mom podcast, and like that fact, like we just like it just was mentioned, and she was like, that's really funny, and I was like, yeah, I guess that's like a funny like cool name. Like she kind of suggested that like that should be the name, and I was like, sure, it works. Yeah. And they didn't really like it for a while, and then it just kind of like stuck.
It gives a lack of sense of security. Like, it feels like there's not a lot of commitment. We're pending. It's a gray area. I can leave any moment I want. There's no attachment.
I guess if you look at it that way, I guess I look at it more like it's kind of like we are like I guess how do I say this? Like, Pending is able to be a lot of different things. And we try to explore a lot of different types of music and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, it's almost like a question mark. Mm-hmm. Like a little bit of a mystery, like what are they about kind of thing.
Right.
That's how I try to view it, but I guess you could also see it in that way. Because that's what it was born from. Yeah. Absolute just unknown of like, what is that?
You're talking to someone who has like attachment issues. So yeah, that's how I see it. So your idea of being a solo artist came more from not clicking with certain musicians?
Yeah, I mean, I had a band in high school. And that was more like a medley band, and that didn't end up working out. And then from there, I was just kind of like, it was like the pandemic, and I was like, screw this, I'm gonna be a solo artist. And then I just started writing a bunch of songs in this kind of like newer direction. And I guess like it fits, like the direction that I went in after like playing in all these like rock metal bands was like this like singer-songwriter thing. Mm-hmm. So definitely like it just made sense to be a solo artist. But then like as you develop like a chemistry with a certain cast of like musicians, and like you really become friends with these people, and like they have an impact on your music. Mm-hmm. And then you might bring in the song, but then it's like a collaborative thing to really bring it to life. You start to be like, I don't really like taking all the credit, it's not just me.
Right.
I don't want to be like that guy,
Yeah, no one wants to be that guy. Yeah, fair enough. How did you come across this group? Was it just stroke of luck? Was it a friend of a friend?
It was college, just being in jazz band. All of my friends.
What college did you go to? I'm sorry.
Broward College.
Okay.
Yeah, we all met there. I'm still there. I'm transferring soon, but I'm still there.
Okay.
And we all just met in the jazz program, and it was kind of just like, I need people to play with. Like it was born out of necessity when I was still a solo artist. It was like, I'm gonna play a gig with a bunch of people who are bands, like real bands. I need to play with a guitar player, another guitar player, another bass player, and a drummer for sure. Like that was just like, I didn't feel like I was gonna fit in that gig if I was just a solo artist. So I just asked my combo bandmates to play with me, and then it was cool, and we kept doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What direction of music do you want to go in? Do you want to fall back into the roots with like the guitar bands, or more pop punk, or? I
mean, we're kind of just going through this definitely for me, after all the metal stuff and the guitar bands and the pop punk, that was like my early formation. I really fell in love with like singer-songwriters. Like my biggest influence is Jeff Buckley. So, and even like old school stuff. So
I 100% expected you to say Jeff Dunham, and I was about to be like, wait, no, wrong thing.
Right. Yeah,
Jeff
so
Buckley, yes,
Jeff Buckley. So that's like my biggest influence. And so I definitely got into like singer-songwriter music and kind of like the folk rock thing. So that's kind of what I do as a solo artist, and I'll still go out and just play these songs solo. But then with the band, we have the band versions. And then kind of now, like as a group, as Pending, we've kind of evolved into kind of like, I guess like, I don't want to throw the word jammy because that has like certain connotations, but there is like an element of like jamminess and like kind of improvisational music, and also kind of like Latin influence stuff, because we're all like, we're a Miami band. Like we have that kind of like influence from all the stuff we listened to when we were, growing up, down here. Like our drummer is a salsa drummer.
Oh,
so we have that kind of like Latin influence, alternative rock, whatever kind of thing, I guess is how I would categorize like the band stuff. So, I mean, yeah, but I feel like asking an artist to categorize themselves is always like hot water. They'll talk for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, no.
I could go on and on.
I asked a band that I interviewed up in Gainesville, I was like, what do you mean by indie rock?
God, yeah. What a big mistake.
It was a rabbit hole. It was great though. It was because they were like, I don't know. Like
I don't know that.
Exactly.
I couldn't define it. Or alternative.
And I'm a shit show with genres.
Right.
So that's why I asked.
Oh, really?
I can't, unless you give me #metalcore, I'm a little lost until you confirm it.
Okay, I see.
When you were talking about the Latin influences, it also made me think of my favorite band ever is Pierce the Veil.
Okay.
And they're in besitos and stuff.
Yeah,
we always make the joke when we see them live, because we're like, did he bring out the Spanish guitar this time? Because, and I don't know if you've ever seen Pierce the Veil live.
I haven't.
He changes guitars like every song.
Oh
I don't know why.
I wish I could be like that.
What is the point, please, from a musician standpoint?
It's tuning sometimes. Like I have songs where I have to like do drop D tuning on the guitar, which like I would love to have a different guitar, but like, there's a rationale to it, like sound wise, tunings. Your guitar might have a tremolo or something that you want to like use for one song, but not the other song, just for whatever reason. Tuning stability. It's a whole load of things. I only bring one guitar to every show, which is like kind of bad, because like, what if
it breaks?
What if something happens,
Right.
String break is whatever. I'll just go off stage 1 minute, change the string. But like, what if like it just falls off my strap and then just headstock break, and then the show can never, the show will not go on. But there's only so much space you can fit in a tiny car. So
true. That just made me think of. You know Dominic Delany, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah. He just kind of goes on the Amtrak with his guitar, and now that just made me think, like, what if it just breaks mid-tour? Like, I just gotta Amtrak it back home.
Yeah, I saw a video of this YouTuber, bass jazz YouTuber. His name is Adam Neely, and he talks about that. Like, he does a whole touring vlog about like literally the hassles musicians that are touring go through to like put guitars like in overhead compartments, because like if you're putting it, check bag like down there, like that's a 50-50 gamble. Like, say goodbye to your guitar.
Yeah,
probably.
well, Actually, there's a ska group, I guess their name is Jer. They were complaining on socials, like American Airlines, every time that they've put their instruments on there, gone.
Wow.
Like not even like a 50-50 chance. Every
Really?
time, yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Like a whole movement, like stop flying American if you are a musician. Cause,
I guess so.
Yeah. But no, that was my thing with Pierce DeVille. It's like you brought all these guitars, but no Spanish one because they wouldn't play the songs from Selfish Machines. But no, categorizing yourself as a musician is
hot
difficult.
water, always.
Yeah, but I guess it's always going to be a little bit of everything at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I like to keep myself open to all kinds of music. For me, it's like that's what keeps music fresh, you know, just like exploring something new and like keeping your ears open to new sounds, and that's what helps you push forward. So, you know, sometimes I'll write a song like that will have maybe like a 70s soul vibe, but then I'll write a song that might have like a 90s alternative vibe, you know, kind of influence. Like, but the risk with that is that you always want it to you always want to make it sound like it's you know?
Yeah, make it cohesive.
Make it cohesive, like not like some clusterfuck of just a whole bunch of different songs, you know?
Right. So, genre aside, what's the songwriting process looking like for you?
I'll normally, especially in the beginning, was guitar always. I'd sit down with the guitar, I'll mess around until I find some like chord progressions that I like. Or I might have like an initial idea, but it's always like guitar first. I normally never just have a melody in my mind first. I'll have guitar first. And then when I have a good chord progression, I'll just like hear melodies in my head. Like as soon as I play it, I'll like have like an idea of like, okay, this is what it's gonna turn out to be, you know? And then from there, it's kind of just like, usually I'll send like a audio message to the band of just me playing it with the guitar and singing it, and just like, what can we do with this? And I bring it into the, you know, rehearsal space, and we jam it out for a little bit and see like structure. But that's been like, especially the more like traditional way that I've written, especially with the group. And then now it's kind of like, now I'm trying to hold a lot of different things. I've gotten a lot better at playing piano. I can't speak today. I'm better at playing piano, and so I've been experimenting with that, like writing on piano, and more like going back to acoustic guitar a lot lately, and like open tunings and stuff like that. Like just experimenting as much as I really can, because that's what keeps it fresh. Is just like trying a new thing, trying a new tuning, a new instrument. You know, if you have that at your disposal, or a new type of guitar, new sound, and seeing where that leads you. You know?
Not to get too philosophical now, because it's something that I always like I think about. And
no, get philosophical. I love it. I love
okay.
it.
No, because it just happened like not too long ago too, with the whole Olivia Rodrigo with the "Good for You" sounding like Misery Business.
Okay.
And then getting sued for interpolation credits, and it's like, geez, how many melodies exist in this world? Like.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was showing him a new song that I was working on the acoustic guitar, and he's like, man, that melody sounds like Eden. Eden's my new song. He's like, I ripped myself off. Like that's how easy it is to get into hot water with this
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're just subconsciously like, you can get into your own like vibe of things, and you start ripping yourself off. And you know, there was another time I was playing with the band, I was showing them a new song, and it was all good until we got to the ending section. And then we were like jamming out the ending, and then one of my bandmates is like, "This is Echoes by Pink Floyd," and I was like, "Damn it! That's why I liked it so much." Like I wrote it on the piano, and I was like, "This chord progression is awesome.
Yeah, this is beautiful. This is great.
This is amazing."
No one's heard this before.
And then it was like, "Oh, that's right." And I love that song until I never realized it.
And I think that's the importance of like having producers or having other musicians around to be like,
hold on.
Yeah. It happened to the Fast Walker Boys when they were recording, and it's funny because they were documenting their whole recording process. But they were like making skits and jokes out of it. So when I was playing, I don't remember what he was playing, and the producer goes, "Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there because that is Foo Fighters." Like, you should have expected that. But it's very important to have other people in the room.
Yes.
What is your favorite song that you have written to this moment? Like if somebody had to check you out, they just found your page, what should they go listen to?
Well, they should go listen to Eden because it just came out.
Okay.
So we can get more streams on that. But I would say honestly, like as a song and like a song that will come out eventually, my favorite to play is a new song. It's called Stay.
Okay.
And that's kind of like a 70s soul meets like a little bit of jazz, but also kind of like uniquely in our sound kind of song that I wrote. And it just always gets a great reaction when I play it live. Like it's like that kind of song. The best compliment I can get is like, your music makes me emotional. And that's like always the reaction I get with that song.
Oh.
So like that I'm most proud of it.
Okay.
Like it honestly is like no bullshit. Like I feel like up to this point, especially like, being young or whatever and still developing as a writer, there's been songs that I've written that I'm like, this is good, but there's just a little bit of fluff. This didn't need to be there. But I feel like that song, and maybe I'll like eat my words on this in a couple of years, but I feel like that song is like just no fluff. Just like it is a tightly good written song.
Right. No, and usually when I ask that question, it's like, what's your favorite song today? Because
Yeah.
tomorrow you might be feeling something different. Although
Absolutely.
it does sound like you really do love that song.
Mhm.
I will check it out. But that's so cool. What is your biggest goal as a musician?
Honestly, like I don't aspire to like fame or whatever, or like or that kind of thing. I just want to like, best thing, like I can live off my music somehow, or working in music in some way. And like if that's how I can make my living, like doing something in music, then I'm like happy. If people want to check out my music, that's great. But like at least if I'm doing something in music, I'm gonna be happy.
No dream stage or anything that you have in mind?
There's always dreams, like
So, to preface it, I ask this because I like manifesting. And I feel like that when you
Absolutely.
speak it into the universe, it's going to happen
Okay.
eventually. And then you can look back and be like, oh my God, I said it on here and that happened, you know?
So I guess dream stage. I don't know. I mean,
Dream stage or dream country to tour in or anything. Like, the world is your oyster.
the world, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of clips from like Red Rocks, and I feel like Red Rocks is like super cool.
Okay.
Up in Colorado, and then just like seeing the world, man. Like I would love to play all those like festivals in the UK, like Glastonbury, like Reading and Leeds. Like that's like the dream. I feel like if you play those festivals, you have made it.
Right.
If you headline it, if you close that festival out, you've made it.
Okay.
You are Hosier, you are Oasis, you are that guy.
Right. I like it. The UK festivals.
Yeah.
I love festivals.
I need to go to more.
What's your favorite festival you've been at? What's been your best experience?
I don't even know. I went to like a local festival. Like it was like weird. It was like, what was this, like 2017? I think like Ozzy played at like Markham Park or something.
Random?
That was like I really haven't been to festivals.
Wow. Never went to a Warped Tour?
No, I'm too young.
How old are you?
I'm only 20. I mean, there were Warped Tours like
Last Warped Tour was 4 years. You could have gone at 16, bro. That's not an excuse.
That's true.
You missed out.
I did.
Warped Tour was a lot of fun.
I'm sure.
If you like independent artists, once again mentioning Fest, I will keep talking about this because Fest I always wanted to go to since I was a kid, and I finally got to go last weekend.
Oh.
The Fest up in Gainesville. Have you heard of it?
No.
So it's a DIY festival for independent artists. So all the downtown has all the venues like up and running.
Okay.
And people come, like, they have the stats online. It's like 90% of tickets sold are out of Gainesville. And a lot of the bands that come are sometimes international or
Cool.
from all over the
That's
country. Yeah, it's insane. It's just a whole weekend. Like, you can walk to any venue and there's music there.
Super cool.
Yeah, so you should look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Submissions open probably soon. I don't know.
That's a good tip. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Like, kind of like break out of like the just local circuit down here, playing the same venues, and it's great. It's always great fun. But like, at some point, I have to like.
You don't have to be diplomatic. You can go ahead and talk shit.
No, I'm not talking shit. I've had only great experiences down here, realistically. But like, I need to like kind of just at this point like really like start to push myself and like break out of like the kind of gigs where you make $50 in the night and like
Right.
you are the promoter. You are sometimes you are the person at the door.
You're the person at the store. You're your own sound guy.
Yes, you're your own sound guy while you're doing live mixing while you're playing.
And you're running all the lights while you're doing it too.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. I get you. That's a whole lot of DIY.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. We have reached the point. Well, it's not awesome. They have to do all that. I hope that you can find some better gigs soon and maybe make $100 in a night.
$100 would be great, and then split 5 ways would be like $25 each, or
No,
15.
$100 split 5 ways, $20
$20.
each.
I'm so bad at math. That's why I went into music and not math.
I know someone out there is proud of me for getting that right. We have hit the point where I'm gonna ask you for advice from a Reddit post.
Okay. That's so funny.
My fiance and I are in a deadlock about our last name. So basically, this is a 28-year-old female and a 29 male. They're getting married after 6 years.
Okay.
And neither of them wants to give up their last name, right? So she's like, I'm not changing mine. He's cool with it. He's not changing his to mine, which I thought, wow, how fucking cool. But he doesn't want to. Fair. Mm. So they want to be known like how you can call a family the Smiths, right? Mm. Or the Johnsons. Whatever. Okay. But apparently hyphenating this is not an option either, because then it's like 17 letters long. Okay. But they really want to have this figured out by the time they have kids, because they want their kids to have both last names. Neither of them are giving up. So what should they do?
Wow, that's a tough one.
Right?
Because I would have just said like shut down your ego, get off of this like old school thing, and just each of you keep the last name. Like, it's not that important, but they do want the kids to have like one last name, I guess.
Yeah.
To be like the Smiths or whatever. I would say, what about make like a morph version of both last names? Like, you take like the first part of one last name and the last part of the other and just put it together.
Yeah, like Johnson and Willis is Jonas.
Jonas, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I
think that's stupid, but
this is so stupid. What my brother did actually is that he made my niece's middle name the mom's last name.
Okay.
It's kind of off, but it's cool.
That's cool.
I guess. Would you give up your last name? Would you change your last name?
I wouldn't change my last name, but I also just wouldn't expect them to give up their last name.
Okay.
My parents didn't do that.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Fun.
That's a very like American idea, I think, to like just give up your last name.
Well, in a lot of Latin countries, you'll hear that they keep their last name, but it says de whatever.
Right.
So like like your fucking property now or something, which I also don't like. One of my favorite groups that are actually, they're a duo, pop duo. They're called Oh Wonder. Okay. Fantastic. For the longest time, they like denied saying that they were together. They ended up getting married. Wow. Their last names are Vander and West, so they did Vander West. Beautiful.
No, that's great.
Exactly.
That's lucky because they have short last names.
So I think for context, we needed to know what these people's last names were. Yeah. But I like your idea of morphing them. Just morph them. Anyway, just take the first letter and then the first letter from the other one and just kind of
like a ship
intertwine
name.
Them. Yeah.
They can make it their ship name.
They
probably had that. Just make that the last name.
All right, Brian.
I don't know.
Thank you for your advice. You can go ahead and tell that camera. It's your shameless plug moment. Let everybody know what you want them to know about you.
So I have a new single out that just came out last month, Eden. It's on Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, YouTube. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys checked it out. It's under my name, Ryan Bazail, RyanBazail. You can follow me on Instagram, on the YouTube as well. I'm going to try and get my TikTok game up. I have it, but I haven't posted on it in like 3 months.
Facts.
Because I just don't like TikTok. But I'll get up on that. That's about it.
I love it, because on top of being your own promoter, artist, engineer, your own social media manager, community manager,
that's
PR
the worst
person.
Part. That's the worst part.
It's a lot of work. I appreciate you so much taking your time to come out here and chat.
I appreciate you for having me on.
No, dude. It's the people coming out here that make the show what it is. Thank you for having an emo phase and talking about it, because we'll never recover unless we do. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You can check back in for another one next week at the Senior Citizen Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.